Are buyers liars? We got some strong opinions on that, and I think the answer is yes. Let me tell you why. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking to you about your buyers because I think they're liars, and I'll tell you why. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, know this. Our show is designed to do two things. One, help you to build pipeline, and two, help you to accelerate deals through a pipeline faster than ever before. Now, this episode, we're going to be talking about how we can help to advance deals through the pipeline a little bit more effectively. It's going to fall into that category because we're talking about your buyers, and are your buyers liars? Now, I'm going to come straight out the gate, and I'm going to tell you this. But before that, if you haven't done so already, check out my prospecting tool. You can find details about it. It's totally free software that I created. Yes, I'm a vibe coder. I love it because it makes life so much easier. Death to all those subscriptions. But go down into the show notes. You can check it out. It's Prospect Pro. And what this does, it allows for me to be able to track my performances. Last week, I did 43 outreach performances. I got a 2-to-1 ratio from for every 2 outreach messages I sent on LinkedIn. I had 1 conversation, which was pretty dope. And then from that, I had for every 5 conversations, 1 appointment. So I need to improve on my conversations there. How can I convert some of those into more appointments? And then from my conversations to appointments, my appointments to demo, that was about a 2-to-1. So I'm doing pretty good on that to disco. So I'm doing pretty good on that. If I start conversing with them, appointment to discovery. If I have initial conversation with them, turns in some great discoveries from that. But anyways, the point is, this stuff works and it tracks my performance and helped me to improve my game. And I want you to check it out. You can go into the show notes. It's Prospect Pro in the show notes. We don't have the exact domain, but you can check out it's in beta version right now. So you can check it out and start using it for free, designed just for you. Now let's go into this episode. Prospects, I do believe, are liars. But before you start coming at me with pitchfork and say, Donald, they ain't liars, let me tell you what I mean by prospects are lies. It's not that they always purposely lie. Let me clarify. It's not that they always purposely lie. They lie because of many reasons. The top 3 ones that I feel: 1, they feel bad saying no. That's probably the number 1 reason why they lie. Number 2, they're not interested, but they're afraid of telling you that. And number 3, they really just want to think about it, but they don't want to tell you because you're trying to get a next step in the future right now, and they're not quite clear. Now, this you might think just an objection handling episode, but I'm going to tell you it says it's a little bit more than that, because we've done plenty of objection handling episode, but I want to go a little bit deeper into this. Now, I had a situation where I met with a prospect. We gave them the dog and pony show. I did my outreach. I got their attention. We started a conversation. We booked an appointment. We got a disco. The disco is going well. At the end of the disco, because I felt it. Now, at the end of the discovery, there should be a 2-path. It's either yes, we're going to go, or no, we're not going to go. And at the end of that disco, it was, I want to think about it more. But I don't buy that. Now, I want to pause here because when I coach sales reps, I coach many different sellers. And one of the things that I've discovered coaching them is that when you are new, and I know from my experience, or when you are immature in your sales experience, you are not going to push against a question like that. Why? Because you don't want to cause rifts. You don't want to cause any tension, and you definitely don't want to lose something because it took so much time to get them from that from outreach to this point. So you're going to hold on to every glimmer of hope, even if it's false hope, because you just want to keep something there. And this may be going on subconsciously, but even in your mind, you may be answering and saying, well, if it's not a good deal, I'm going to take it off. But why in the world do we hoard horrible deals? It's because internally, we're believing that there's still hope. It's like the Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. You're telling me there's a chance, so I'm going to hold on to it. But I'm telling you right now, do not do that. Cut them and go to the next one. But before you cut them, don't be afraid of losing something. A trainer once told me, a sales trainer, you can't lose something you never had, right? So if they're not a customer yet, why are you so afraid of losing them? The challenge that I find is that usually when I don't say what I feel I should say, that deal festers, it doesn't progress, it becomes cankerous, so to speak, and kills my pipeline and my hopes and my ambition. So I want to get to the real stuff, and it requires for me to ask real questions and challenging questions. So here's what I would tell. Here's what I did with this client, this prospect. So I knew that. So I asked them, and I feel that there's a couple reasons why. Let me just point out a couple things. Now, when you have a purpose as a sales rep, independent, like for instance, I know that this is a one of the services for our production agency. So I want this production agency to thrive, and we have a revenue level that we're trying to get to, because our production agency, we're building it up to the point where we can sell it. So I want to get to a certain revenue level, and I need X amount of meetings and X amount of deals per month. So I am highly focused on a purpose. And yes, I do want my clients to get amplified, and we want to help them to generate leads. But I have a purpose, a goal. And because I have that goal, I am working relentlessly towards that goal. And I am going through whatever obstacle there is and not taking any prisoners, so to speak. I am going to make this happen one way or another. And because I have this definitive goal and I have this vision of where I want to get to, I'm going to do what's necessary to get there and to get rid of the fluff. So that's the very first thing. So you as an individual contributor working for a company, you do have a sales quota, and you can't let any junk get in the way of you achieving that quota, because this is for you can get that money so you can go to Bali or the Maldives or wherever you want to go, or you want to go buy a certain car, or do a golf trip in Ireland, whatever your focus that you want to do. That's totally worthwhile. You got to have a reason why you're doing this, and that's going to help push you to make sure you don't take any fluff. So I want to point that out. That's the very first thing. So I understood what mine was, and I had this guy on a call. So I'm like, listen, I ain't going nowhere. I didn't say this to him out loud, but in my head, I'm like, I ain't going nowhere until we get something. I'm like Denzel in this situation. I'm from around the way, bro. And, I'm not leaving here without nothing. So I wanted to make sure either that something was going to be, we're moving forward or we're not. So the person told me, yes, I want to just think about it, get back to me, because I knew that was wishy-washy. I was like, tell me a little bit more about that. Go deeper. What exactly you want to think about? Is it because of the price or whatnot? And then he went deeper and he came back and said, yeah, I just don't think that services is that much. I don't think it should cost that much for that service, essentially, what he told me. Now, that is totally different than that. I want to think about it. What is it that you're going to think about? What is it? If I left a conversation there, what was he really going to think about? Is he going to say, well, let me justify and make it happen? It could be, but I think that's going to be a 1 or 2% chance. I really think what he was going to say was, I'm not going to go forward with anything, but I'm going to tell him this. And yeah, maybe we can connect later in the future if I win the lottery. Like, that's probably the thinking about it. So I want to get to that. And that's so I asked that question because is this guy going to help to get to accomplish the goal that I'm trying to accomplish? And I know that may sound selfish, but you got to think about that, right? You're not just doing this work that you're doing for charity. You want to help them, and you're going to help them to achieve the results if they use your service. And as a byproduct, you're going to get your reward, your commission. And in my case, it's going to be one of the other MERS according in our plan. And I'm going to help him to gain some great attention, generate some leads for his organization. But I had to ask that question. When I asked the question again, it came back that it's not, that wasn't it. So I went deeper and I pushed and probed a little bit further. And I wanted to make this work. So I'm owner of the organization. So I said, let's go down the price avenue. And I did go down that path, and he came to a price level that he felt that would be good. But then even further, I felt that there was even more. And it turns out that there is more. I just feel that he doesn't see the value in it, no matter how much I explain it. In his mind, he probably was trying to get something for free. So anything that you bring value to, any type of value that we express at this point, if your mind is set on free, then it doesn't matter. You're not going to you're not going to see it. And he's just not probably a good deal for ones that I want to go after. Compared to the other deals that I'm having, the people who are interested and they're getting other team members involved and they're trying to move forward, there's a path that I can see. If there's a wishy-washy path, I need you to be able to go back to your purpose, and I need you to probe and go deeper. You got to be willing to ask the tough questions is the one thing that I've learned. And this is something you can practice. Practice it with your spouse, practice it with your family member, practice with a friend. And the tough questions I'm talking about is, well, like just ask some questions. If somebody asked you, so for example, hey, do you want, if you ask them a question and they say, well, I'm not sure if I want dinner, you can take the easy answer and just say, okay, well, just go deeper. If you practice with your family members, it's just going to be so much easier to become second nature with somebody else. So you might say, well, tell me why you don't want dinner. Um, it seems like there's something deeper beyond that. And maybe you discover that they are sick or whatnot. But the point is, you just can if you practice with your family member, it just makes it so much easier to go with your prospect. The third thing I want to share along this that I learned is never assume. Never assume. I find that the buyers, if I ever assume with the buyers, I'm going to find myself in a whole deeper poo-poo. Like it just doesn't work if I assume. You just got to get to the real deal, ask them the right questions, and push. The fourth one is don't wait. If you have a goal, I don't wait. And what I mean is like the waiting. If there's a time frame, we need to wait for the next action. Great, but I can't in that scenario. If I waited till I reconnected with this guy in some future date because he was going to ghost me. If I waited, I could have set a false appointment and he could say, yeah, let's meet in a week and we set up a date, but then he could, not meet with me then or reply back before, hey, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to move forward because I didn't get down to the real issue. Because I got down to the real issue, I wanted to get that now, and I'd rather take him off my pipeline rather than to keep it festering and wait for 3 months or 2 weeks or whatnot. So the point is, don't wait, just get it done now. The last one, don't be desperate. You can be confident without being desperate, and that's where it was for me. I was confident, but I wasn't saying, well, please sign and please come do business with us. It's like, listen, we're going to work with, we can help you. We can do this. We can help you get the results you want. We have the relationships and we have the partnerships and we can help you to get where you need to get to in this guy's case. However, it wasn't going to be like a simple, like, me desperately begging for it, because if they can smell it like a Doberman, like they can smell if you're begging for the opportunity, and nobody wants to work with somebody who's just begging. So I don't be desperate. It's an ugly look. So recap from this episode. I want you to understand that if you feel something, say it. Like, just say it. The buyers are going to lie. Again, not because they're trying to be deliberate, lying to you. It's because they just don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't know how to say no, or they really just don't have enough information. And they'll tell you, I need to think about it. And thinking about it could be so many other random things. Have a purpose. Be willing to ask tough questions. And some of these are uncomfortable questions. Don't assume. Don't assume. Don't wait for it. Do it now. And then don't be desperate. You take control. You can be confident and have control. I would love to get your opinion on this. You can go ahead and let me know, Donald, I think this is full of crap, or I just wait and I pray and I hope, and let me know what you do. But in the meantime, go down in the show notes, check out Prospect Pros, that tool, and can help you to generate your averages so you can know your numbers. And then 2, if you're interested in a LinkedIn course that teaches you how to use Navigator effectively, this guy has one. You can find more information at salesevangelist.com/LinkedIn. We have a new group starting up, and it would be an amazing opportunity to have you join us. Again, salesevangelist.com/LinkedIn. I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking. I want you to go out and do big things. See you on the next one.